Welcome everyone to the 2024 Acura MDX Type-S. This is not the upcoming 2025 that we're just about to see, and I'm going to make a little bit of an argument why I think you should actually go for the 2024 versus the 2025 if you're looking to save just a little bit of money and still have a really fun dynamic family SUV. So let's go take a quick tour of the exterior before we go take this MDX Type-S on the drive and see what we're rocking with here. So of course, if you don't know what the MDX Type-S is, it is the sporty MDX, of course, and it has this gorgeous blue paint color here to show itself off in. And yes, the 2025 model has a little bit more of a sportier front bumper area on the lower portion here, some new color options as well, but generally it's the same vehicle, same power, same chassis, same dynamics at the end of the day. We just have some updated interior materials and packaging. I really love these wheels. I think they really stand out as well. We have those nice red brembo brake calipers hiding behind them, and we haven't taken this out on a drive just yet, so we're going to see how those tires, these Continental tires, perform out up here in the mountain passes here. And of course, the MDX Type-S gets a lot of what you're going to get on like an A-Spec package, so blacked out trim all around your MDX. And out at back here, the real exclusive bits are these quad tipped for the exhaust here. So these are real quad tips for the exhaust. They look absolutely epic, really help stand this vehicle out apart from the crowd. And of course we have our Type-S badging back here as well, in addition to that quad exhaust system. Now the real nice part about the MDX is it has a really gorgeous interior, especially with this really nice orchid style white interior here. So really gorgeous space. We have a huge spacious rear end, of course, with the third row here in the MDX, and a nice big panoramic glass roof as well. Really nice cabin, wood trim. We have the ELS Studio 3D, and if you are a big fan of the ELS Studio audio system, this is going to be your only chance to get it, as the 2025s ditch this for a Bang & Olufsen audio system. So a little bit of a different experience here, but still great sounding speakers. Here is our cabin here. Some new things you're going to see on the 2025 is the newer style infotainment system. This still has the touchpad. That kind of changes things up a little bit. Generally though, it's pretty much the same vehicle at the end of the day. So let's go take this thing out and drive and see how it performs out here on the mountain roads. Popping the MDX into drive is that funky shifter over here. We can put the 10-speed automatic, I believe, in sport mode as well. And let's head off. We also have a drive mode selected here. We can change our drive modes to comfort, normal, snow, lift. We also have a sport plus mode, and this also has an air suspension as well, so definitely a dynamic vehicle, well-built chassis. We have a heads-up display as well. We can control with some physical buttons here, and a few different things we can cycle through on this gauge cluster here. I like to see the super handling all-wheel drive display. Personally, it's my favorite screen. We have decent cameras here, 360 cameras as well, to help you kind of navigate some areas. Pop the transmission in sport as well, and let's head off in the MDX Type-S. Now, getting out of what I just came out of was the GV80. Now, technically, this does compete with the Genesis GV80. And one thing you're going to notice off the bat is this definitely is a little bit more performance oriented than the luxury focused GV80 I was just getting out of. You know, Acura's super handling all-wheel drive system, it is a front-wheel drive, you know, transverse style based system at the end of the day, but super handling all-wheel drive is really sending power to all four wheels at all times, and its torque distribution is really great, especially when you're cornering. You can kind of see how it works via this display. And I've always been told that when you really want it to work, you have to be putting power into the engine for it to really kind of torque vector you around a corner. It's really cool. It works on the front and rear ends as well, so it's a really nice touch. And these newer generations of SH all-wheel drive have definitely enhanced the rear drive capability, so it sends more power to the rear end. You know, this turbo V6, single turbo V6 under the hood here, still healthy power. You know, it's nothing too crazy, nothing like a B58 is gonna make in like an X540 or even just an X3 M40 style. Those are still pushing more power, and the GV80 twin turbo V6 is pushing just a little bit more power, but this thing still feels pretty peppy. It's a pretty unique vehicle in the terms that you can get a third row, have air suspension, have a pretty nice interior space, really gorgeous looks, I think, on the exterior, and decent handling dynamics as well. So it kind of stands itself out a little bit, kind of like a Q7 competitor in a sense. You can have paddle shifters as well if you want to kind of row your own gears. You know, they get up to speed pretty well. You know, it's a quick vehicle, but once you're really on it, you kind of notice the weight of the vehicle at the end of the day. So it's definitely a heavy car. It's not something light on its feet. See some people filming the new X2 over there. Give them a little exhaust note. But I am impressed with the handling dynamics. Yeah, the steering is honestly quite vague and a little bit on the lighter end, but there is some good precision, I think, in there. It is a little bit direct. You can see the vehicle is pretty responsive with the steering inputs. It does feel very video gamey in a sense. A lot of Japanese manufacturers' steering racks kind of have that similar feel to them, but honestly pretty good for an SUV. This is actually my first time in an MDX Type S at all. I'm honestly quite curious to drive the 2025 now to see if they did make any kind of behind the scenes enhancement to the steering, suspension, or the engine. And I think there has to be some software tuning and stuff that have changed for 2025. But generally quite good. You kind of feel the turbo boost building a little bit on this engine, which is kind of cool. But on the other end of that, that does mean that there's a little bit of turbo lag there to notice. It is one big turbo I'm working for this V6 here. You can see how light this steering is just right here, maneuvering it around. Very, very light. I do like the steering wheel itself. It feels very premium, actually. And we are in the Sport Plus mode, so this is our most dynamic setting. Definitely gets up and goes. Kind of holds those gears a little bit long. Let me check out some other modes. So we also have regular sport mode, just a little bit tamer of a drive mode here. We also have normal mode. So this is going to be your day-to-day basic. The air suspension is going to be on the softer side, normal ride height, more comfortable tuning of the engine and the transmission. We still have the transmission in sport actually, so I can pop it back into drive. You can kind of feel it free up a little bit. It's going to let it coast a little bit more and not be as aggressive, which is nice. Even the steering kind of feels a little bit more calmer and not as twitchy and direct, which I do quite like as well. So there's a lot of different ways you can drive the MDX, and I'm kind of happy that you have that breadth of the capability. As I mentioned, I haven't really gotten even into the infotainment system here because there's not much to kind of talk about it here. We've all seen this True Touch interface from Acura. Yeah, it works much better than something like the old Lexus trackpad thing used to work. You do get used to this, but it's not as easy as like a touchscreen would be. Now the MDX can be, I believe, a touchscreen in some situations, but the new one is purely, I believe, a touchscreen now. You kind of hear those little motions it does when you're kind of going through the menus as well. Navigation pull up, of course you have the Apple CarPlay as well integration, so that's nice. But I really do love the animations you get in sport mode, or at least all the different drive modes. I think they do a great job at kind of showing you all the fun stuff this car can do. And I love the placement of this controller. It feels like you're really just like changing the heart of the vehicle. And there is definitely a big breadth of capability across these different drive modes. They definitely change the style of driving of this vehicle, as well as how it just feels around the roads. And coming downhill, brakes pretty strong actually on the braking performance. You can see it downshifting here as we kind of go a little bit slower. So honestly, quite impressive, just smoothness of all the systems here. Now the downside to this vehicle is fuel economy, not so good. You're looking around average 19, 18 mpg, and Acura doesn't offer any sort of hybridization whatsoever in their lineup right now. So hopefully we'll be able to see them kind of move a little bit in that area. Honda is moving in that area a little bit, so it'll be nice to see Acura kind of adopt some of that technology as well. But you know, the MDX Type S is still a great choice if you want that really all-around blend of performance, capability of the inside, with all that space. A little bit of braking test here. And especially if you're comparing this with the upcoming 2025 model, if you really don't need the enhanced looks, different audio system, and revised infotainment, honestly, I would just go straight with this model. You probably can get a good deal at a dealer as well. It's still offering you great performance and luxury. Anyways, guys, thank you for joining me on this quick drive of the 2024 Acura MDX in this gorgeous blue paint. And as always, stay tuned for more coming in Allcarnews. Cheers.